Welcome to Madison HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association. We're here with women's soccer head coach Dave Lombardo, following a great weekend for the program.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So Friday night we had a 1-0 victory over East Carolina. Talk a little bit about how that game went.
Yeah, both opponents were very respectable teams. We had to play hard to win those games. Both are pretty athletic teams. East Carolina is coached by Robbie Donenworth. Robbie was my first ever goalkeeper coach here when I first started the program. So we've known each other for a lot of years, kind of know how each other like to coach and the kind of kids that we both have in our program. They're an AAC team. The AAC is a pretty good soccer playing team with the UConns of the world and South Floridas and Central Florida. So they usually put a very good team together. We handled them, really gave a freshman responsibility of marking out their best player. They've moved her, number 8, into an attacking center midfield role for them, and she had been playing up top prior to that game. And we put Stephanie Hendry on her and just said, where she goes, you go, and don't let her turn and face up towards the goal. And she did a great job. I mean, I think she had one shot the entire game. So that was a good result for us.
Yeah, and then you guys followed up that win with a 2-1 victory last night, or yesterday afternoon, over the Liberty Flames. Talk a little bit about that game as well.
Liberty is just one of those no-quit type of team. Coach Jess Seeley has them. They're well organized. They're athletic. They're just scrappy. Any kind of loose ball, there's no easy chance for you to get to that ball. There's always somebody competing hard for it. So I thought we did a pretty good job of keeping the ball. Yesterday, I think our midfield outplayed their midfield. And if you notice, they switched really in the second half. They stopped playing through the midfield, and they just started launching balls over the top, looking for the breakaways. And we did an okay job dealing with that. So I'm certainly not going to complain. We got 2 W's. That was the challenge I put out to the team this week. Is we've split the last 2 weekends. This was that moving week that we talked about, and they got the 2 W's. Would like to have seen different scores because I thought we created a fair amount of offense, but just one more than the opponent is all we needed, and then that's what we got.
Yeah, we've talked about these 2 players before, and I'm sure we'll talk about them again. Allie Bunner and Ashley Herndon both continued their success this weekend. Talk a little bit about their continued high level of play.
Well, like we talked about after the game, they both are they're accepting their responsibility as leaders, and some leaders talk, and other leaders get it done on the field, and they're doing a little bit of both right now. Not a little bit of both; they're doing a lot of both right now, particularly of the performances on the field. I mean, I think Allie has 5 goals and an assist, and I think she's only been shut out in 1 game. Ashley has at least a point in every game that we've played, either an assist or a goal. So between the 2 of them, they either directly combined or indirectly combined or had a hand in probably most of the 14 goals that we have right now. And that's great, but we also need to get the other team to, the rest of the team, to get on board that let's not just rely on them. So I need players like Alyssa Zerlo and Sydney Brown-McLeod to really kind of step up offensively to help spread that out as well.
Yeah, and one player that I've kind of noticed has been an unsung hero for the team is Kelly Kerrigan. She had an assist in both games this weekend.
Yep.
It gives her 11 for her career, and 1 more will tie her for 25th all-time on the program list for career assists. Talk a little bit about how well she's done.
Yeah, Kelly is just she's probably one of the more technical and smarter players that I've had over the years. We joke with her all the time. She wasn't blessed with any blazing speed, but she's got a very fast brain and how that works, and has very, very good feet. So she, when she's on and she's playing the way that she can play, she's able to get us out of tight jams in the midfield. Her technical ability allows her to break pressure. When we can break pressure in the midfield, then we can play forward. And she was able to help us do that this week. She's a leader. She's a captain, and she has been good at being able to step up in key moments. And we practice. I know some of those goal kicks that corner kicks that we have scored on may look somewhat accidental, but we actually do practice playing balls into that position where Allie Bunner is. We call her the sniffer because she's always sniffing around the goal. But we play those short corners. We practice those. We've scored, I think, about 5 of our goals this year, either directly off of corner kicks or second chances off of corner kicks. So that becomes an important part of who we are.
Now, the schedule doesn't get any easier from here.
Yep.
The next game is at Maryland Thursday night. They're also 4-2 this season. Talk a little about that matchup going in.
Well, this whole week right now arguably is probably our second hardest stretch that we have in our non-conference schedule. We had at Virginia Tech and at VCU. Those are 2 tough games. We competed at Tech pretty well, lost the game, though. We competed at VCU and won that game 2-0. Maryland is the last BCS school that we have on our non-conference schedule. They're a Big Ten opponent. Their RPI is going to be fairly high. It's going to be inside of probably 80 or better, and we have to get some results against those high RPI teams. So this is going to be a big game for us from that standpoint. LaSalle has, the last 4 years, they have been the top team or one of the top 2 teams in the Atlantic 10, and that is a team that has had a lot of NCAA appearances. We haven't beaten them yet. We've played twice over the last 2 years, and they've beaten us both games, I think, 2-1 in both games. So, we're hoping to change that around a little bit. But this is a very important week for us as well, is to get better than a split. 6 points would be great, 4 points would be great, but better than a split is our ambition.
All right, well, best of luck this weekend coming up against Maryland and LaSalle, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Nate.